Hey guys, it's day 10, and you know what that means? I don't either. Thought I would do a blog about dating. As you saw from yesterday's blog, I'm not having much luck dating right now. I'm really not that picky, but for whatever reason, Portland is full of retarded men. I moved from the Midwest about 4 years ago out to Portland because I wasn't having much luck with dating back in the Midwest. As you can see, I'm very tattooed, and that is not very acceptable in the Midwest for a girl to be as tattooed as I am. Now, some of the boyfriends that I had back in the Midwest when I lived at home were okay guys, but there were a couple of douchebags. Douchebags. One in particular that I can remember, his name was Tony Sly. Now, it wasn't his actual real name. That was his wrestling name. Now, he wasn't one of those mat wrestlers that you see in the Olympics. He was a full-blown WWE type wrestler. His whole persona was Tony Sly, King of California, blah, blah, blah. And outside the ring, he kind of carried that whole douchebag persona. I met this guy online, I believe through MySpace. And I was like, oh, he's really cute, he's tall, and he likes bigger girls, and he has brown eyes. And if any of you personally know me, you know how much of a sucker for brown eyes I am. And everything started out okay with him and I. He came up to my apartment and hung out with me and my two roommates. One of my new roommates happening to be my ex who I had just broken up with about a month prior to. He came up and drank with us and played cards and yada yada yada, and everything was really cool. So we started hanging out more, and I'd go down and see him. He'd come up and see me. I would start going to his wrestling plays. Anyways, I'd go down to his wrestling matches. And while I was there, I noticed this girl come up and hug him and kiss him. And I was like, what the fuck's up with that? What the fuck's up with that? So I questioned him after, and he's like, oh, that's my girlfriend. He didn't know I had a girlfriend. He had been playing me. I was his girlfriend on the side. I actually found one of his girls that he was also kind of seeing named Trina. Me and Trina devised this plan. We were going to email the other girl and let her know what was going up because she was completely in the dark about the whole situation. I went ahead and emailed the other girl and said, hey, he's got 2 other girlfriends on the side and I happen to be one of them. Apparently he had blown her off because she had surgery the day prior and was supposed to come and take care of her, but instead he blew her off to come hang out with me. Now, this pissed me off pretty bad that he had done this to this poor girl. He had no idea that we were talking, so we talked back and forth, and finally she decided to bring it up to him. He was pretty pissed off at me, but we all got the last laugh because he was left with nobody because we all broke up with him. So the current douchebag that I'm seeing, which douchebag may be kind of an overkill for this person, but the guy I'm seeing right now, I met off of Craigslist. And one of his friends had posted an ad for him. I didn't know. I thought he had posted it himself. And pretty much was just like, oh, there's this really nice guy, you know, yada, yada, yada. He likes this, he likes that, and he looks like this. And I was like, wow, he's really cute. Okay, I'll email him. He's, you know, a little bit older. He's 32. So I went ahead and emailed him and got an email response back saying, oh my god, you're really cute, you know. Just to let you know, this is his roommate emailing you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we started to text back and forth, and it was going really, really good. We never talked on the phone, just simply text back and forth and tried to get to know one another. We eventually set up a time to hang out, which was going down to a karaoke bar with his roommates. Well, I brought one of my friends with as well, so it wouldn't be awkward for me if I didn't like him. So everything was going well. We said our goodbyes, yada, yada, yada. I got a text message back from him saying, oh, you know, I missed you. You were a lot of fun, so on and so forth. Alright, cool. So pretty much the day after that, the text messages had really slowed down. He pretty much just wasn't saying anything. So I was like, okay, great. Another guy that doesn't like me, so on and so forth. I went ahead and set up a date for that Sunday to go down to downtown Portland, see the Saturday market, show him around because he had just moved up here about 3 weeks ago from South. And so we met up at the train, went downtown, everything was nice, and he knew that I kind of liked him because I'd sent him a text message saying, hey, you know, I really dig you, you're really cool. So we go down to the waterfront after we explored, you know, downtown Portland, and I'd shown him some of the cool stuff that we have here. And we sat down at the waterfront for probably about 3 hours and just kind of talked and so on and so forth. And everything was cool. And I got a kiss from him. I got the first kiss down at the waterfront. It was really sweet. We hop back on the train, and I tell him how to get back home, and I go ahead and go back home and have a really horrible night after that. And I actually had somebody drive up next to me and take a huge McDonald's cup of pop, chuck it out the window at me when I was walking home. Not a good night. And then on top of that, I had to wait for the cab for 2 hours at the train stop to come pick me up to go back home. So after that, things really kind of started to slow down, and he just wasn't texting me anymore, and he'd call me occasionally and say, hey, do you want to hang out? And be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll hang out. And it was always last minute. It was never planned, unfortunately. So the band I work for came into town a couple weekends ago, and I said, hey, you know, this is really important. Will you go with me? Will you be my date? And I said, yeah, I'll be your date. So he came along with me. We had a pretty good time. It was more just kind of as friends, to be completely honest. He was hugging other girls and, you know, kissing other girls' heads, and I was just like, what the fuck? What about me? Like, I look really hot tonight, you know, and you're paying no attention to me. That night, I was really sick with my cold, as you guys could see from, I think it was my first video, actually. And we came back to my house, and he spent the night here, and pretty much was in a huge hurry to get out of here in the morning. And that was really kind of a bummer to me. I would have liked to hang out with him a little bit, but what can you do? He'd rather go home and watch football. So I texted him a couple days later and said, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? Because usually weekends is the only time we can hang out, because he works 5 days a week from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. He does childcare. And he told me, no, it probably wouldn't work because they're going to play Halo all weekend long. Which really bummed me out, because I've had boyfriends in the way past, like early high school, that would rather play video games than hang out with. I actually had my last ex, Scott, when I was over in Germany and France. I was over there for 20 days, and almost all those days that we weren't out, he was playing World of Warcraft all the time. And, you know, I've never been to Germany. We were in a German city, for Christ's sakes. And he would expect me to go out and explore by myself because he'd rather want to play World of Warcraft. Even though I lived in the town and he was used to it, I'm not. Video games have kind of ruined a lot of my relationships, unfortunately, and for some reason I'm attracted to those types that play video games. Really, ideally, I should be attracted to those types that make YouTube videos. Maybe that would be beneficial for both of us. I don't know. So yeah, I've had quite a few douchebags in my lifetime, and I've been around for 24 years. Even though I'm a bigger girl, I've dated my fair share of people. So who's to say, really, if I think about it, how many douchebags I've actually dated in my lifetime?